Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Sue and I'm so glad that you stopped by today. Welcome to my kitchen. We're going to be making a chicken nugget rigatoni dish. So stick around and we'll get into it. So yesterday I had 4 of my grandchildren here with me and we played around, had some fun, did some things. And I made them chicken nuggets for lunch. But to my surprise, they did not finish them. And there were quite a few left over. Usually there's only 1 or 2, but there were quite a few yesterday. So I had bagged them up and they're in the refrigerator. And you know that chicken nuggets the second day just are not the same as when you bake them up the first time. So, but they are good for my chicken nugget rigatoni dish. So that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna cook that up. And so, are you ready? Let's get cooking. First thing that I did was I went ahead and I cooked my rigatoni noodles. So this is about, I would say, almost 3/4 of a box of rigatoni. I like ours to be saucy, so I lower the amount of noodles so that my recipe that I use for the sauce leaves it really, I have a lot of sauce on top of them. So I've already cooked my noodles and I have them cooling so that they're not hot. They won't absorb all that liquid from the sauce. Now I'm cooking up my spaghetti sauce. It is totally your preference. You can use a pre-jarred sauce, one that's already made. You buy it in the grocery store. But about 10 years ago, my youngest daughter gave me this recipe for spaghetti sauce, and her dad loves it. So that's what I use because he was never a big spaghetti fan when the kids were little, but since he's tasted this and has had this, he asks me for spaghetti. So I know I can make this and he'll be a happy camper for dinner that night. So the first thing we're going to do is I cut up an onion and use about half of it, and I cook that till it gets transparent a bit. And then I add a pound of hamburger. Now I pre-cook my ground meats and I combine them. So I have 1 pound packs of hamburger, ground chicken, ground turkey, whichever I happen to have at the time is what I mix with my ground beef. But I do that because then it's so much easier when you're at the last moment, you don't know what you want for supper. You already have that cooked in there. You can pull it out and make something. So I always pre-cook my meat. So I have that in here with my onion. And now I'm getting ready to move on to the next step. Okay, so once your onions and your hamburger mixture is ready, I'm going to use a 29-ounce can of tomato sauce and add that. And then a 14.5-ounce can of diced tomatoes with basil, garlic, and onion in them. And stir that up well. Then I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. We have a bit of a sweet tooth in this house, so we like our spaghetti sauce a bit sweet. I know controversy as to whether sugar belongs in that or not, but this is the flavor that we've really liked, and maybe that's why my husband likes it so much. Then I'm going to add a tablespoon of olive oil. Now I am going to let this simmer for about 20-30 minutes. so that the flavors can all combine and it becomes all together in the flavors. So once that is ready, then we can put together our casserole. Okay, now my sauce has simmered for a while and the flavors have come together. So I am going to take a few of these spoons and just put in my noodles into the rigatoni and coat them with that to help keep them from sticking to each other and to spread the flavor out. So I put in about 5 spoonfuls of this. So I'm just going to stir that in so it coats all of the noodles. Okay, so here I have the leftover chicken nuggets from yesterday. So they are already cooked. I cooked them yesterday. They're ready to go. So I am going to cut them in half and then in half again. So they're actually in quarters. I'm going to cut each one of them in quarters, and then this will become one of the layers in our dish. So I now have everything ready to assemble my dish. I have my rigatoni noodles, I have my spaghetti sauce, and I have my chicken nuggets. So one more thing that I will add just a little bit of is cheese. This recipe does call for cheese as one of the layers, but I cannot eat cheese and my husband does not eat cheese. So I have to choose a lactose-free cheese to eat. And I did find one that's really good at our local deli here that we go to. So I do use that for half of it for myself. And then on the other half, I put a limited amount of cheese because he can eat just a tiny bit to get some flavors. So you can add mozzarella or cheddar, whatever your preference is, to the layers of this casserole. So we're going to get started. We're going to put, first of all, a couple spoons of the sauce on the bottom. I have sprayed my dish with spray so it doesn't stick. Now I am putting in some sauce on the bottom. Then I am going to take and add about half of the noodles. And I probably will not even use all of these noodles, but then we have extra. And the kids love when I have noodles, so they'll be fine with eating noodles that Mama has left over. So we're going to put about half of them in this dish, or whatever looks like a good first layer. Spread them around. There we go. Now I'm going to take and put the chicken nuggets as a layer on top of this. So I'm just going to spread them across here. What a fun way to use those leftover nuggets. It's not something that happens very often in my household. The kids usually eat these right up, but some reason yesterday they were more interested in playing. And that's good when you're together with your cousins. You want to play and have fun and make memories. Okay, so there we have the nuggets spread out in a layer. So my next step is I'm going to add some cheese. Now this would go much quicker using bags of shredded cheese in here, and you would get a much cheesier effect. But this works for us and the way that our diet is. So the little bits that I get in here are actually plenty for us. Okay, now I'm going to put more sauce on top of that. Now I'm going to add another layer of the rigatoni noodles. And look at that, I used them all. Kids might be a little disappointed when they come the next time, but they can have the casserole if there's any left over. Okay, now to that, I'm going to add some sauce. You could add cheese there if that's your preference. I'm going to put some sauce on here. We like ours saucy, so I will have extra sauce left in the pan so that we can add it as we dish it up onto our plates. Okay. Now on my side of this dish, I'm going to add a little more cheese. And I think that's good enough. I was going to add more, but I think that's good enough. So I'm going to get ready and bake this. So my dish is all assembled, and I'm going to cover it and bake it. I'm going to bake it at 375 for 15 minutes covered. And then at that point, I'm going to take the foil off, and I am going to bake it for another 20 to 25 minutes, depending on how you like your top. So I'm getting ready. I'm going to put it in the oven, and we'll see when it comes out how yummy it looks. So I've just taken out my chicken nugget rigatoni, and I did put it in for the 20 minutes afterwards, the 20-25 minutes without the foil. I put that on once I took that out to leave it sit for a few minutes. But I've taken it out, and here you can see how beautiful that is. So I'm going to dish up a plate for my dinner. And like I said, I will be adding some extra sauce because we really like the extra sauce on it. But that looks so delicious. So there we go. A quick, easy meal that really, you can make this up a day or two ahead of time and store it in your refrigerator until you are ready to eat it, to bake it, and then you'll have a meal that's good, nutritious, and filling. Now, we're just going to add a small salad to this, and we'll be set for a really good supper this evening. So thank you for joining me. Like and subscribe, follow along on all my adventures. Today I didn't have the grandkids with me to help with this, but they're usually around, so today was just a mammal day. So I thank you for joining me. Like and subscribe, follow us, and we love to hear from you. Bye-bye.